Welcome back, and thanks for joining me for another run. We are going out, and we're going to do a winter run today. We're in Edmonton, Alberta. We are a few kilometers from my home where I live, and it's a beautiful December day, the 1st of December, in fact. And we're going to go out into Edmonton's River Valley, and we're going to check out a little bit of the snowy trails and some of the asphalt that leads down and under the bridge that is a very familiar bridge for anybody who's traveled the ring road of Edmonton, the Anthony Henday. Down in the southwest corner of the city, there is a bridge that leads over the North Saskatchewan River, and we're gonna run on the pedestrian leg of that bridge. This is about a 6.5 kilometer run for me. I left my house around noon on a Friday afternoon and went through the suburban neighborhood that is right near where I live, and very quickly I was able to drop down into the trails. These trails are beautifully maintained, nice and clear in the winter. They're sanded, clean. As you can tell, they're not too slippery, and yeah, lots to see down in the trails down here. It was a very quiet day. There wasn't many people out. I did see a couple of people walking their dogs down the trail a little ways, but I kept them out of the camera vision because I'm sure they want their privacy just as much as anyone else. What you're seeing here is that we're dropping down into the trails, and this is a long, winding bike trail that is usually traveled very heavily in the summertime, but in the winter, it's one of those hidden gems where if you're not familiar with it, you probably wouldn't walk out into a snowy field and realize that there's a beautiful trail system down here. Sometimes in the summer, not so much in the winter, but sometimes in the summer, we will, as a group, go down here and do hill training. We haven't done that recently because it is a little far from where we start, and it's a fairly steep hill. It's about an 8% grade, I think, and for a lot of people just starting out, that's a fairly steep hill from hill training. But if you're up for it, this is a great, quiet place to do hill repeats. On the one side, you have a beautiful view of Edmonton's River Valley, and you can just imagine that in the summertime, this is lush, green, and a nice, clear summer day would just have enough shade that you're not basking in the heat of the sun. I drop down onto this trail, and I normally, when I go down here, I'm not usually alone, but I am sometimes. I've seen a little bit of wildlife down here, coyotes occasionally, and so I do have my keys jangling in my pocket. I'm not sure if you can hear that on the audio, but I try and make sure that any animals that are lurking down here, coyotes, deer, maybe a moose now and then, they know I'm here just as much as I can. The last thing I want to do is startle one of those critters. As you can see, there's a little bit of a park area down here. Those evergreens on the side of the road there are part of a fairly groomed area. If you come down here in the summertime, there's a nice grassy area where you can sit, maybe have a picnic. You can hear the traffic a little bit as you're going, but you're far enough away that it doesn't really bother you. And I've been down here occasionally, and I'll bring my fishing rod down here and throw a line in the water just behind those trees. And yeah, there's some fish down here, and it's a nice place, a little bit secluded, but definitely not out of the way. This bridge here is about 10 years old. It was built in the mid-2000s, the first decade of the mid-2000s, or the 2000s. I don't know how you want to call that, but when they built it, they very smartly put a nice clean pedestrian bridge under here, and for years there was no real way to access this. And then about 5 years after they built it, they ran a nice asphalt path down here and up the other side to the neighborhood. So if you're down here and you're so inclined, there is a loop that's about 20 kilometers that you can do that would take you from the neighborhood where there's a recreation center where we run out of, and it definitely is a challenge. But yeah, about 20 kilometers. That would be almost a half marathon, in fact. And there's some hills, there's some neighborhood running, there's a couple pit stops with washrooms, a couple bridges to cross, and definitely a lot of scenery. My goal for today was to run to the far side of this bridge, and as you'll see from this footage, I ran all the way across the bridge, stopped for a brief second on the other side just to get my bearings, and then turn around and ran right back the way I came. I'm not sure exactly how long this bridge is, but yeah, it's definitely worth checking out because there's some beautiful views of the river, and I think, at least from how it looks like it's been built, this is not going to be the end of the line. But right now it is kind of the end of the line. It's about as far south as you can go in the Edmonton River Valley trail system, and you can loop across, and you can definitely have a look at what the prospect is for extending out into those trails, and maybe some more asphalt, hopefully in the next couple of years. But until that happens, it's very much a secluded area. It doesn't get a heck of a lot of traffic, enough to make it worthwhile, that's for sure. But someday maybe we'll be able to take you a little further, but today that's the end of the line. So I'm turning around. I've run back across the bridge, and it's time to head back into up the hill. It is very much my intention with these videos to not only allow people who can't get out there and run on these trails to have a glimpse of what they're missing, and not to tempt or tease or make you feel bad, but just to show you what kind of beautiful things are out there, and what's possible if you're willing to put a couple feet in front of the other. These are highly accessible trails. In fact, I've seen numerous people down here in accessible vehicles or wheelchairs, and I guess it just really comes down to how you're able to get down here. But just so you know, these are here. They're beautiful, and they're open to everybody year round. As you can tell, these trails are very well maintained. I come down here frequently, a couple times a month for sure, and they're not as well used as they could be, and that's the other reason I'm making these videos is really to share my love of running and my love of the area around where I live, and to show people that getting out, seeing what's around you, exploring what's really out your back door. I mean, this is a 6K run for me. That's not very far, 6 kilometers out and back. So really, when I'm at the far end of that bridge, I'm 3 kilometers from my house, and I would challenge almost anybody who lives particularly in the same city as me to go 3 kilometers from your house and in some direction, and not find something amazing to look at, some beautiful piece of nature, or some little snap of wilderness that you can just enjoy. And whether you do that on your feet or on a bike, or however you want to choose to explore, it's worth it to get out there. As you can see, I'm back at this hill, trying to climb this hill again, and a bit of a slog, and the camera got a little shaky as I was climbing, so I cut away from that for a bit, and I'll bring you back up as we approach the hairpin turn up here. There's a sign here where they built a new trail. This is the extension that leads over to, there's an off-leash dog park about 4 kilometers from here, and they built a connector path. Right now it's just gravel, but in the next few years it's probably going to become asphalt. I'll bring you down there some other day on a different episode. For now, I'm climbing back up out of this river valley and just trying to get past this little stretch of trees here. As we climb, it's already been a little over 10 minutes of video time that I've been sharing this with you, but I'm right now about 30 minutes into my run, trimmed out the boring bits, hopefully, and what you're going to see as we climb up to the top here, just kind of, not quite cresting the hill, but getting up to the point where you can get past the trees and have a look out. What you're going to see is the bridge off in the distance, and that's where we ran to today. So thanks for coming out with me again. Thanks for taking 10 minutes out of your day to do a little tour of these trails, and I hope that you come back again sometime and let's go for a run.